welcome Marina, Olga and Antonia. Thank you for being here with us. It's great to have three amazing singers like you to portray this fool, I would say, this poet who had a very, very busy life. And it's called the Tales of Hoffmann. Nobody knows who he is if we don't understand who you are. So you define him, in my opinion. Hoffmann doesn't exist without you. And so in the first act with Olympia, our doll, let's say, well, it's interesting. In our production, you actually, Olga, are working more as a robot than a doll, maybe?
It was a really great idea to put this act in the school, because I'm sure everyone will agree with me. When we are very young, often we fall in love to some person who is very beautiful, but absolutely empty inside. And
it's incredibly challenging. I mean, you're singing already a very, very difficult aria, virtuoso aria, let's say, but you have to play with kid things. You are in a school.
Yes.
Do you want to show us a little bit of this?
Of course I don't want, but...
But because I asked.
Yeah.
Musically, it's interesting portraying a robot, but still sing something that has a sensuality in it.
Yes.
Because that gives also maybe Hoffmann a humanity more, and not only stupid kid that actually fall in love with a robot, but also the sensuality of your singing, it's important.
I'm always preparing myself for this part, like I should be absolutely empty inside.
Dry, yes.
It's
exactly.
really a challenge for me because I have to be as a robot and all my movements, but you asked me to make her more female.
So it's exactly the mixture of dry mechanical movement and also singing, combined with a sweetness and something that is very seductive. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, so we come to the next act, which is Antonia's act. And Antonia, you've sung Antonia many, many times. And so you know the role very, very well. But it's also a different version of this role.
Every time we do a production, even if it's the same role over and over, it's a challenge because every production is so completely different from the others.
She's supposed to be a singer that cannot sing, but in this case, she's not a singer. She's a dancer.
It's so demanding physically speaking, but I think the side that I found so strong is the exhaustion, the tortured soul that every artist has, I think. Because to be an artist, you have to have this tortured soul and to have something to express. Antonia needs to sing, she needs to love, she needs to live, you know. She had this choice between the love for Hoffmann and singing or to dance in this case.
This act also has incredible music.
So romantic, yes, sentimental, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, very, very different music than what we just heard for Olympia. And then you kind of wake up and you're troubled, but there is such an urge to express yourself. It's something that really 20 years old is. As Hoffmann in Olympia is a kid, then in Antonia he's a grown-up, not completely grown-up. But for Giulietta, Hoffmann is older. Giulietta is the most sensual figure of the three ladies, so more connected to sex and to the sensuality love. And carnal love. Offenbach, the composer, died before he finished the opera. And so the end of the opera, Giulietta act and the epilogue, are more incomplete, more fragmentary than the other acts. So there is much more freedom in interpreters like we are now to define how those acts are. So we decided to portray Giulietta with one aria that it's for sure for many, many people unknown to make her what she is.
I like the point that you made about him not finishing the opera, because I feel that this is when Hoffmann, in a way, loses his identity. His conscience is no longer with him. After losing the love of his life, he's lost. And he meets with a new emotion, which is apathy. He doesn't care, and kind of loses his core of who he is. And so having these parts that are put together kind of represents how he is in pieces as well.
True.
These people, they are masked. They're not showing their identity. They're not showing their true selves, just like Hoffmann. It's very luxurious, but it's also like smoke, right?
Yeah.
It can be blown
Yeah.
away. It's
Yeah.
nothing that
Concrete.
holds, nothing concrete.
Yeah.
And just like living that life can also be, you feel like you're untethered. Giulietta isn't necessarily in love with Hoffmann, and that's why I love this story, because it speaks of love, but very different types of love that we all experience, because it goes from this juvenile love that we kind of, it is superficial, but as a youth you can love so fully. You love as a child.
It's more naive and superficial.
Yes, and then you have, of course, the love of his life is this beautiful Ermonella in Antonia, and then you have, you know, the apathy that comes in with the love, where it's like, I've had now life experience, and you kind of break off from people and stop caring.
Hoffmann, he's a poet, and in this opera, he's always facing this crucial decision to follow the love or the art.
Oh, the art, yeah.
Because we learn from love and from tears.